Hi, I'm Grace.
Hello, I'm Joey. Welcome to the staff orientation of the Telepresence robot use. So Grace will tell us how the robot works.
So here we have the robot named Bubbles, and we'll just go over the main screen functions, which are shown by the 4 icons here. So on the left, you have the option to create a visitor pass. On the second icon, this is to check the Wi-Fi, see if it's connected. The third icon will show you how much the robot is charged. And the last one will show you if the robot is parked, and that's also indicated by whether or not the kickstand at the bottom of the robot is deployed or not, and we'll give you a better view of that later. So the last little function that you can do on the screen is if you drag and hold on the left hand side, you can change the volume, and then on the right hand side, if you do the same dragging motion, it'll allow you to raise or lower the head of the robot, so that if you need to maintain eye contact with whoever you're calling, you can adjust this function. So at the bottom of the robot, you can find an indicator for whether or not it's charging and an indicator for whether or not the robot is parked. So for whether or not it's parked, there's a kickstand at the bottom, and it'll be up or down depending on whether or not it's parked. So there's a light at the bottom of the robot that can show up as 3 different colors potentially. It'll show up as green if the robot is just out of the parking dock and driving around. It'll show up as blue if you're trying to park it, and this is when the kickstand will also deploy. And then lastly, it'll show up as orange if you're having it parked and in the charging dock properly. So it'll be an indicator that the robot is charged and good to go. So if you ever need to turn the robot on or off, there's a little button that's found at the bottom of the robot, and it's pointed out by the pencil right there. So you just need to click that button, hold it for a few seconds, and then it'll turn the robot off and back on. So now we'll go over some of the main safety and handling tips. So if you're ever trying to move the robot around, just make sure that first it's parked so the kickstand is down. Secondly, have the robot head be lowered all the way so that it's at the lowest level. And then finally, when you're moving it, just try to place your hand at the lower position of the pole so that it's more stable, and when you're moving it around, it's a bit easier. And when you're storing the robot, just try not to have it lean against anything, the wall or anything nearby. Just have it upright, standing like this with the kickstand deployed. So when you're parking the robot, you can have it so that it's placed facing the wall or facing into the room. So what I mean by that is you can have it like this, or you can turn it around if it's bothering anybody at the screen brightness, and you can just face it away into the wall. To check if the robot is actually charging, there's 2 ways. One way is to check the bottom of the robot and see if the light at the bottom is an orange color, which will show it's charging. The second way is to check the screen, and you can find the third icon here. Right now it's just showing the level of how much the robot is charged, but once you place it into the parking dock, it'll change to show this lightning symbol, and that'll mean that the robot is properly charging. So when you're placing the robot into the parking dock, just always make sure that the metal areas on the dock and the robot are touching each other, and then that'll ensure that the robot is properly charging.
So thank you, Grace, for explaining the use of the robot. So if you have any question, feel free to reach out to me or Grace, and we hope that you enjoy using the robot in the unit.